painted this? Is this a Warhol?
It's just something we like to travel with.
Do you?
No.
The fans go like this. They go, God, you're so young. And then they go, oh, yeah.
Hi everybody, I am with the legendary vocalist Eric Martin from Mr. Big.
That's right, look at me. Don't I look like Eric Martin's father right now.
And before we go any further, I think we should focus on...
First, nobody's focusing on us to begin with, my friend. Yeah, what came first, the chicken or the egg?
All right, so me and the kiddos here, we come up with a few questions.
All right.
That we're gonna stump you with, or get some answers out of. Let's see.
So is this like an interview or a quiz or a game show?
This is a sort of a mixture of all the above. First question.
All right.
New York or California?
That's a good question. I've lived in California over 30 years, but I was born in Long Island, New York.
Wow.
And I still have relatives in the East Coast. Oh, hold on. That could be one of my wives. Hold on.
It might be a really short interview. Okay.
All right. No, it's okay. I'm free at last. I can do what I want. And you know what I choose to do? Speak to Barry Sparks and tell you all about.
Thank you.
So yeah, New York was my home. You know, my mother and father are all born in the East Coast. New York is a special place for me. Actually, I play in a kind of a solo band with all these guys from New Jersey. You know that band, the Trickster?
Of course.
Back in the day, yes. PJ Farley and Steve Brown.
Sure, yeah.
We play together sometimes. We're actually playing some gigs coming up. But
awesome.
The East Coast is near and dear to me, but California soul.
So your soul is in California.
Yeah.
Okay. Beatles or Stones?
Stones. Right off the bat.
Stones.
I know
Phil Mogg would love you. Okay.
Yeah, I know that kind of hurt you there for a minute. Your eye kind of twitched, like a Tourette's. You're like, kind of twitched. I love the Beatles, of course. Songwriting, beautiful harmonies and everything. But I've always kind of been partial to the piracy of the
rock
Rolling
and roll.
Stones. Yeah, they Rolling Stones. It means a lot more to me. And I grew up in a lot of bands, you know, in the 70s. Where you have like top 40 bands now that are doing tributes and top 40 music and all that. Songs on the radio. When I was younger, I played in like Rolling Stones cover bands.
So you were playing the Mick Jagger?
Yeah, I mean,
really? Wow.
I started as a drummer, and then I kind of became a singer, and I just kind of stood there for the longest time. And when I'd watch Mick Jagger, I'd go, oh, that's what you need to do on stage. So
awesome.
Yeah, Stones fan.
Awesome. Okay, let's see. Do you prefer?
Did you just want yes or no answers? Did you feel like I was embellishing too much?
I want you to elaborate. That's perfect.
Can you see me?
Perfect. I can zoom in.
Are you just you're looking at this chicken? All right.
Do you prefer a mountainside camp or a sunny beach?
Oh, Mountainside Camp in a heartbeat.
Cool.
First of all, I hope this is not going to hurt the audience.
No, I don't.
Audience can hear everybody at the same time go, yeah! 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Good timing. Hey,
they're trained well.
The kids of a bass player.
They're trained well.
Anyway, I don't like the sun. I'm not big on the sun. I mean, look at me. I'm a pretty, white boy. But
you like to hide under the leaves.
I like the mountain. I like, to see the stars. I'm a tent guy. When I was a kid, my dad used to go on these old camping trips all the time. Like the Shenandoah Mountains.
Wow, like John Denver style.
John Denver. Dude, we had, that famous baseball player, way before our time, Ted Williams.
Okay.
I think he was on. I think he was on the Red Sox.
Okay.
Famous. Look him up. Hall of Famer.
Okay.
Great player. But he sponsored, like, he did these commercials. And we had a Ted Williams tent when we were growing up. I mean, it was like in 1960.
Wow.
I don't want to, for you kids at home, I don't want you to get it like crushed to know.
They just know that as the old days.
How old are you?
They know that as the
None
old
of your
days.
business. And so, Yeah, we had a Ted Williams tent, and we used to go camping all the time, pretty much like you do, Barry.
Wow.
I envy.
Well,
your
okay,
lifestyle.
my camping experience, well, I did it as a kid, but this is fairly new to us. If you would have asked me last year, I probably would have said beach. But this year, I'm going to go with you, Mountainside Camp.
One of my first solo tours, I did the KOA camping. And like hotels, schmotels, who cares?
Yeah, great idea.
KOA camping, you do wash there, you know, you get your barbecue going. And you know, KOAs, you know, they're probably back in the days in the 60s and 70s, they were all built in. It doesn't matter how rusty it is. I like the way it is, man.
All right. Last book you read?
So you know those trickster guys that I play with? The drummer, this guy named Joey Cassada.
Okay.
And he was in a band called the Z Brothers. It was on IFC. It was called Z Rock.
Okay.
And these brothers, it was David Z and Paulie Z, and you know David Z is that bass player that was killed in that. It was like a huge car accident, you know, where he was with the Adrenaline Mob.
Oh,
I don't know if you heard about that,
yes, I did. That was
super
a year or two
amazing.
ago. I heard about that.
And you know, well, there was this gig I was supposed to play on the East Coast. I know I'm all over the place, so I apologize. But there was this gig I was playing on the East Coast. It was called Rubiks Cube, and they were like a kind of a cover band with a bunch of rock star guys in it. And David was learning, so simple, to play "To Be With You," but he was playing "To Be With You," "Just Take My Heart," and another Mr. Big song called "Daddy Brother," "Lover Little Boy," right? And we were gonna play together, and then he passed away.
Oh man!
But anyway,
that's
Joey Cassada was the drummer of that band, and he's a fantastic drummer. And he wrote a book called, if I get it right, "Starts with a Dream," and it's about rock and roll and his life. On IFC, they had a television show. It was called Z Rock, and it was a funny story because these brothers and Joey, they played for kids' parties during the day, and they made enough money, and then they'd buy the gear and everything, and they'd play at night, like in the East Coast, like New York City,
like the old school style.
And so there was a movie or a television producer came to their show, and they pitched him this idea about, hey, we should do a television show about you. And it was called Z Rock, and it was on IFC, Bravo, whatever, for like about 8 years. And it was. Can
we find it on YouTube?
You can find it on YouTube. It's hilarious.
Okay.
And it's got
we'll search.
A lot of rock stars are in it, and a lot of actors and wrestlers.
Okay.
Like even I met through Joey. I met this who's a really good friend now, Chris Jericho.
Oh yeah. Okay. The famous wrestler.
Yeah. Famous wrestler. Yeah. Anyway. That's my story, sad but true. Joey Cassada, Starts with a Dream. That's the last book I read. And
last
it's a fantastic
book read. Okay, this may be a hard question. When your best childhood memories?
I'm an Army brat. My dad, we traveled everywhere. Kind of prepared me for what I do now. And I've been doing for over 40 years. Yikes. My best childhood memories. Well, we went everywhere. I mean,
traveling.
God, when I was a kid,
camping, I guess, sort of.
Camping and traveling. I mean, we lived in Italy, and we.
Wow.
Where
at in Italy?
Vicenza.
Honey, you know that? You there?
Hey. Oi. He's one of us. All right. So, Vicenza. My mother was Italian.
Wow.
It was Sicilian.
Okay.
Kind of different.
Her mother's Sicilian too.
And my wife's Sicilian too. I used to,
Wow.
I have to sleep with one eye open.
Wow.
I never thought she had a dagger in her mouth.
That's why that eye won't
sneaking
close.
up to the bed.
That's why.
I've heard that.
Right.
What are the highest points and lowest points of your career with Mr. Big?
Okay, the highest point would be where we, when we first got together, Paul Gilbert, Billy Sheehan, Pat Torpy, and myself, it wasn't a cakewalk. I mean, they were like, Billy was famous, and Paul was like the new gunslinger on the road. 1988 we got together. 89 we made the record, but 89 was our first record. 90, 91, it was a struggle. I mean, we were playing, tons of clubs, and in front of dudes, mainly dudes.
Right? Even back then, huh?
Yeah. Then in 1992 we had the hit with "To Be With You," which is on the Lean Into album.
Sure.
Last song on the record, Who Knew? We put out like 4 to 5 songs on the radio, you know, album tracks. I don't think they were singles, but we just put them out. And To Be With You was number 1, and that was the high point. And there's been many, many high points. I mean, trust me, that's my musical career and my personal career. Having 2 children was the best thing ever happened to me.
Mm-hmm.
But To Be With You. And the lowest point was, I gotta say, without bringing this party down, was when Pat Torpey died.
Oh my gosh!
And that was.
Oh my gosh!
And we had toured. We were on the road, and he already had the Parkinson's disease, right? And he was playing with us he played like 10 songs, and we had a sub drummer with us. This guy Matt Starr, probably run into him over the years. Yeah. And then Pat would play this percussion kit, like we call it a cocktail kit. Yeah. It was like drums with no bass drum, right? And he played some tambourine, but he was my guy to sing with. You know, Billy would take the really high stuff, and Paul would take kind of the middle, but me and Pat were the Lennon and McCartney of Mr. Big.
Really?
You know?
Okay.
Yeah. He was a phenomenal singer.
Wow.
And so when the Parkinson's started to get to him, he went from, actually, no, when he had the Parkinson's disease, he was playing the whole gig, but leg was starting to twitch a lot.
It must have been heartbreaking.
It was heart-wrenching.
Through that, yeah.
And it went from 24 songs to 10 to like 3 to 1 song a night. Mm-hmm. And he played percussion. He was out there all the time. But we did this full-on tour, and 2 or 3 months later, he was gone.
My gosh!
And that's the lowest point. And
my gosh!
Yeah, I mean, I could go on and
get
on,
much
but
lower than that.
No,
Yeah. That's wow.
He was the anchor of our band.
Yeah.
He was the bridge between Billy and I. You know, like early in our lives, me and Billy would, we'd argue about songs or the way the direction should be, blah blah blah, or, when you're on the road, Pat would like, guys, let's not sweat the small stuff.
The anchor.
He was the anchor. He was a good guy. But anyway,
I never met him, but he just had that face of just like your best buddy. He's a nice person. You can tell.
Actually, when we were sitting here talking before the camera got turned on here, you remind me, your face, your facial expressions, when you're like stern or you're funny, that's Pat Torpey.
Wow. I'll take that as a compliment, because I know he was a great guy. My gosh, wow. If you weren't a singer, what else would you want to be?
Drummer.
A drummer?
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
And it's kind of weird. I was gonna say bass player, but there's a lot of you guys out there. Yeah. I started out as a drummer, and I was okay. My dad was a drummer before he went in the army, so he taught me how to play his drums. He gave me his red sparkle. No, he had a white pearl Slingerland drum set when he was younger, and then he kind of lost it in transit when he got in the army and everything. But he bought me a red sparkle, and it was like what kind of drum is it? I don't know, a Hong Kong or something.
Something actually
like a
cool,
Hong Kong. Yeah, I don't know. And I played drums, and I played in a couple bands, and I thought I was pretty good, and I definitely had my beat. But I wasn't as good as him. I could never be as good as him.
But I bet as a singer, having a drumming background, it must help with because a lot of singers, they don't have any rhythm sense. You're going to be all over the place. It must help you.
It definitely helped me. I mean, I'd go around with Pat. I'm like, Pat's like, well, I think you're a little ahead of the beat. And I go, maybe that's my adrenaline. That's how he talked too. He'd go, well, I don't. When he talked to me, he'd go, Eric. Yeah, when Pat would talk to me, it would be like almost like my dad.
Really?
Eric, you're a little ahead of the beat, And I go,
let's face it.
I don't know, maybe you're a little out of time. Oh, you need a punch in the mouth, But I think definitely drums helped me do my timing.
Yeah.
But I sucked.
Wow.
I doubt it. Thank God I had the lead vocals.
I doubt it.
On.
What song do you wish you wrote? of any iconic songs or anything?
Oh, that's too hard of a question. But I'm going to tell you right off the bat, my new favorite song that I've been loving now for like a decade. I probably loved it years and years ago, but Whiter Shade of Pale.
Great song.
Purple Harem.
Great song.
I love that song so much that I convinced the guys in Avantasia at the end of the night they would play just random stuff for people to walk out on. I go no, because I got Mr. Big to do it too. I go the last song. When we come out, we bow and we thank everybody so much for coming to this great show, and we just love being here. Whiter Shade of Pale plays, and oh my God, hair stands on my back, my arm. It's such a beautiful.
Do you remember the version Sammy Hagar and Neil Sean did?
I do. I thought Sammy Hagar did a great job, and I thought Glenn Hughes did a great job too.
I love her.
Oh, it's great.
I'm sure, Glenn.
But nobody is as good as, and I don't know his last name. I think it's Gary Booker.
Purple Harem, right?
Gary Booker. Gary Booker.
Brooker. We're going to look it up.
We're going to look it up at Gary. It's one of my favorite singers. And I never used to say that before in interviews, but now he's on the tip of my tongue.
He kind of reminds me of a little bit like the guy who's really good from the Guess Who. What's his name? Glenn Burton?
Burton Cummings.
Burton Cummings,
But he's like, you're true life and dango.
Yeah.
But he had a soul.
Totally.
I never thought it, I never paid attention to it very much. I was like, oh, that's a good little song. But it's
a great chord progression, and
it's definitely a classical piece. There's two of them.
Oh, great.
Yeah, Whiter Shade of Pale, and then All the Young Dudes by David Bowie.
Great song. Awesome. Okay.
Good job.
Okay, top 5 desert island albums.
Perfect timing. Mott the Hoople live.
Okay.
I know.
I got that
strange.
Vinyl. I have that vinyl.
Yeah, I do too. Mott the Hoople live. I think it's at the Hammersmith Odeon.
Okay.
Great record. It was one of my first kind of records that I loved when I was growing up. Rolling Stones. Goat Head Soup.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I know. I know. There's others.
Interesting.
But I'm just throwing it out there. Okay. It's a box set, but it was an album.
Okay.
The Motown Sound.
Okay.
I have it on vinyl as well. It's at Motown Sound, and when I was a kid, I crossed out Motown. I put the Martin Sound.
Okay.
Right, on the same record. So
pretty clever. Pretty clever.
Right. I used to do the same thing with like Epic Records when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And I put Eric.
Records. I wasn't able to do that.
I still have my album collection, and I've defaced everything. It's not worth anything now. It's so stupid. There's a Sam Cooke album called Live at the Copa that I loved. Okay.
Wow.
And these are my collection stuff. Oh, Allman Brothers Live at the Fillmore.
Yep. Wow.
East.
Okay.
I think. Do I have one more?
I think there's one more. If it's not 6, it's fine. Go ahead.
Okay, and Humble Pie Performance.
Humble Pie, that's a great record. That's a great record. What was it like touring with Rush?
2 times, brother. Two times. Yeah, I did
Roll the Bones,
Presto and Roll the Bones. Every gig we played was like 20 to 50,000 people.
Nice.
That in itself, we were really lucky.
Sure.
And I mean, when our first gig, we pull up to the hotel. This is before Philly Screening. Our first gig is in North Carolina. We pull up to this like funky hotel, and it said, "Welcome, Mr. Biggs, Biggs."
Mr. Biggs.
Yeah. Hey.
Nice.
And our first gig, the fans were like, "Oh, who are these guys?" And they kind of watched Billy and Paul. Nobody paid attention to me. They couldn't care less.
Oh boy, yeah.
You know? And most of them were out there drinking beer or getting a T-shirt,
waiting for the
waiting for Rush. And then Rush started talking about us in magazines and telling people, like when they'd have meet and greets, and it sort of got around. And then even To Be With You comes out, and we're thinking, okay, this is going to be the kiss of death. Fans started
all
coming
of a sudden,
out.
right?
And and Geddy and Alex, they told me multiple times, thank God for Mr. Big, because they brought girls to the Rush tour. Right?
Oh, funny.
But I was in Fuller's Green, and Billy's holding court, and I'm in the doorway, and I'm going, yeah, those Rush guys, they're probably going to be like you know, we loved them. They were great to us and everything, but there was not like a real big hang to that.
Yeah.
And
They didn't hang very much, maybe.
Not really. You know, it was like after a couple of weeks, we were on tour. So I go, yeah, those Rush guys, man, they're probably like got their white coats on at the end of the show, you know, probably looking at their budget.
Yeah,
you know, how much money did we make? And like, you know,
their taxes.
3 scientists. And Billy's looking at me, and I go, oh God, they're behind me, aren't they?
No
and
way.
I turn it, and it's Getty and Alex.
They laughing?
And, well, they're kind of laughing a little bit. They go, you know, why don't you come on the bus with us for the next gig? And I go, oh, okay. So I go on the bus, and this guy, Howard Ungerleider, was the lighting designer.
Yeah, he's famous in Rush.
Famous. They're all
albums.
famous.
Yeah,
Man, they're all the crew. There's another guy named Jack Secret.
Yeah.
And he was the keyboard tech, you know.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, all of them were just amazing people. So Alex and Getty. So I'm on the bus talking to Howard Ungerleider, and Howard's like, you know, those guys are upset with you that you like. We're talking about them behind their back, and I'm like, I was just. I mean, I know they got a sense of humor. I mean, like every night they're playing, you know, the Three Stooges music opens their show. Da 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 da. You know, Red Barchetta or something. I used to watch them at Soundcheck do this. You know, Alex actually let me press like there's this button on stage. It was like subdivisions.
No way. Subdivisions pedal. Wow.
Yeah. Anyway,
interesting.
They brought me on the bus, and then Alex and Getty come out from behind in their stateroom, and they're wearing white coats, and they got, and they, I swear to God, on my mother's eyes, and they had a big old like black book, and they're just sitting down there.
They played it all out.
They did it for about 15 minutes, and I'm like going, oh, come on, you guys are busted. And then I thought they were kidding. I knew that they were kidding, but I think they were like busting my balls a little bit. And then they just started laughing, and
that's awesome.
And then Neil's, he was in his bunk sleeping or something. He came out, and Neil's like, "Oh, you guys, what do you do to this?" And he goes, "Eric, right?" And I go, "Yeah." And he goes, "No, we're gonna call you E. You're E." I'm like,
"This is what Neil said?"
Yeah. And I go, "Oh, call me anything you want." And then they brought out a bottle of Cristal champagne, and they just say, "Look, we would have had the rest of the guys in the band on the bus, and we were definitely going to have some get-togethers, but it was just so easy when you were like busting our balls the other day, and we had to do it to you. But we want to have the guys on the bus, but we want to welcome you to the tour."
Nice. How nice!
It's so great, toasted champagne, and you know, and then I became like a groupie fan. I was going like, "Well, I tour on the Snow Dog. What's that about?" Or like,
then you start to research.
What's your name called? Getty. And he goes, "Oh man, my name's Gary. My
wow,
my
that's
mother
awesome.
called. She's Hungarian, and she couldn't pronounce Gary, right?
Yeah.
And they just became the coolest guys.
That is
and
awesome.
they liked us so much that they invited us back. You know.
Wow, I'm even a bigger fan if that was even possible. Yeah. That's awesome.
Last week of the tour, we're playing Alpine Valley in
in the Alpine
Wisconsin.
Valley,
Milwaukee, I think. And Alpine Valley in Milwaukee. 60,000 people outside and everything. And they invite us on, we did a sound check first, but they invite us on stage to sing In the Mood.
Really?
The song that when I grew up, you know, in the mood.
Yeah.
So I took a verse, and
Nice.
Getty took a verse. Billy played bass with Getty.
That's cool.
Paul did a harmony solo with Alex, and then Neil's he'd have this big kit, and then he would spin around and have a small kit.
Okay.
So they put the kit like sideways for the end, and so Pat played the small kit. Oh,
nice.
Dude, I think it's out there on YouTube.
Well, you know what? That says a lot, because I don't think, as a Rush fan, I never heard of them doing that with any other band. That seems pretty.
It was
a pretty tight, cool relationship.
It's not a lie.
No. Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. Were you always naturally good at singing? Did you have to learn how to sing, or did you just always woke up? I can sing, sure.
Well, I told you I was a drummer, and the singer didn't show up to practice, and I, you know, like when you were saying, like singing "Hey Baby," playing bass is difficult. Singing, I remember singing. We did the Rare Earth song. Get ready, because it was like,
wow.
Get ready, because here I come. And I couldn't do it.
Uh-huh.
And they go, I think you should be the lead singer now. I'm like, but I'm a drummer.
And that was it, huh?
No, but you're a really good singer. And I'm like, what do you mean? You're not a very good drummer.
You're all bummed out. You're gonna
That's
bummed out. You're gonna be the star of the show now.
Yeah, well, they go, Eric, you get all the girls, get the spotlight. And I'm like, but I want to be a drummer, like my dad. Yeah, but you're not that good.
You're not cut out for that.
You're a better singer.
You're cut out to be a star,
right.
boy.
I know. I didn't want it, and so yeah, it did come natural. But I did. I have done vocal lessons over the years, taken from a lot of great vocal teachers, and vocal lessons definitely helped me for stamina, and like my diction was terrible.
Okay.
You know, look, I like the Mick Jagger and the Rolling Stones. I copied his dance moves, but he's like, man, you know, I was like, what is he saying?
Somehow
He's so cool.
Somehow he can get away with that just fine, can't he?
Yeah, so my diction was poor, and I was helped with my diction and my stamina.
Is there a singer or a band that influenced you the very most? Just one person or band that, like, that's the key.
Yeah, Paul Rogers.
Paul Rogers.
Hands down.
That's no surprise.
No, and man, I met him. I actually sang All Right Now at a Super Bowl party with Paul Rogers.
Nice.
And it's me and my wife, Paul Rogers, and I am beside myself, man. I'm like, you know, like the Chris Farley, like, remember when you were free? Yeah, totally. Like, oh my God, your tooth was missing at the Texas Jam. Do you remember that? Oh yeah, I remember that. It was the greatest moment of my life. So I felt like I was in the presence of a master. You know,
awesome.
I see David Coverdale. He goes, I've met him before, but could you introduce me to Paul? Yeah, sure. I couldn't make this crap up. Yeah, I'll introduce you to my idol, another idol.
That's awesome.
And he came up, and I go, Paul, this is David Coverdale. And he goes, oh, great to meet you. We met before. And all the rock stars circling. And me and my wife were pushed down in a circle.
Popped out of the bubble.
Oh, I was like, we'll talk later, Eric.
Call me.
But I was like, that's my story.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the internet and how it has changed music and the music business?
The internet.
I mean, you can just say for good or bad. You can.
It's a super great tool for getting your music out there.
Yeah.
But also, I was going to say necessary evil.
Yeah.
But like YouTube, you know, and I hear some people are getting paid for some of this stuff.
Some.
But I got like
keyword
these
some.
people. Songwriter friends are going, no, we're trying to pass that law. And I go, well, yeah, let's. How can I help? How can we try to get? Or like when I look at YouTube and I see the millions and millions of hits that, like even like a song like "To Be With You" has, we should be getting paid for that stuff. They don't have bootlegs on there. They don't put movies out there.
I know where you're going at here. Yeah.
So why do they do that with music?
But why aren't you getting paid? Yeah, exactly.
And, you know, if they do put movies on there, I'm sure the movie company is cracking down on it and they'll get paid. Every time I put out a record, it's already on YouTube before the rest of the world gets it. And I'm like, and sometimes
they have it mixed before you actually mixed it.
Yeah, and I used to go, like when I didn't know too much about YouTube, I was like, wow, that's cool, we're popular. What are you, stupid, Eric?
Do you have any special vocal warm-up before a gig?
I do. I have there's this woman named Judy Davis. She passed on about 10, 20 years ago, I guess maybe. And she was my first vocal teacher. And she made me a private tape. It was like the sore throat exercise. Because I always get sore throats. As singers, you work so much, you know. The best thing for a sore throat is you got to keep playing. You got to keep gigging.
Okay. Yeah. You know, it's one thing, like as a bass player, fine, you're sick. You can stand in the corner and
this is where he champions me. I'm fantastic. I love a guy like
you. No, I'm saying that. But when it comes to the voice, man, if you get sick, what do you do? Like when you're up there, you're singing, you're going like, I got one song left, and there's 12 songs left in the set. I know I can't. What are you gonna do? I mean, that's tough.
I have meat. He has metal. What do? You pray. Like Pat Torp used to always say to me, "Don't go outside with your hair wet." But he would say, Eric, you got to take care of yourself. And I go, oh man, I know what I'm doing. and I didn't, you know, for the longest time. I would get sick, and it would be because of stupid stuff. I talk too much. The key to my my musical life is you got to get 7 hours sleep. You got to, because if you don't, you're gonna suck. And trust me, yeah, I have a smoke, and you're gonna freaking suck.
All right, so I want to thank you, Eric Martin.
Thank you, brother.
It's been
Thank you
absolutely.
for shaking my hand like a gentleman instead of having to go like this. Hey, bro.
I didn't get the email. What are the moves? All right, so thanks for watching. Give us a thumbs up, subscribe, and see you next time.
All right.
Okay, guys. Okay, so
Thank you, guys.
the big Eric Martin fan,
Hey,
the
this
fan
is about
club.
a 20-hour makeup session before this photo session.
No.
I don't believe it. I don't believe it.
I don't look like that every day.
Okay, guys. So you guys want some autographs?
Oh, you're Dennis, and you're
Leo.
Leonardo.
Corsican.
That's
And
a good
you're,
Italian name.
All right, Eric. All right, to Eric,
With him for
From
so
Eric.
long.
the real
Oh.
Mr. Big. Okay.
Wow.
Oh. Wow.
Oh, cool.
Okay. There it is. Okay, listen. Take this to the principal's office, and you can get out of school for the whole year. All right?
Awesome.
Dennis. Sorry, Dennis. Everybody has that kind of look. You know, they got the same clothes. they
We
got the
only
same
make
hair.
one model. We have.
Dennis.
Yep.
All right, Dennis.
Dennis likes the drums. He's got a drum set.
All right, to Dennis. Bam, bam, and then you're gonna finish it with a crash. Okay.
Nice.
Wow.
Bam, bam, boom, boom, crash.
That's awesome.
There you go.
Awesome.
Oh,
Thank you,
That's
Dennis.
super cool.
Thank you.
Okay.
Leonardo.
Leonardo. N-A-R-D-O. Yep.
Leonardo. I
Yep.
like it. Okay.
He's a big boss man. He's actually he's pretty much a Mr. Big himself, I would say.
All right.
Wouldn't you guys agree with that?
Yeah.
wow, right?
That's awesome, Eric.
My new best friend,
Oh.
That's great.
AKA
Yeah. That's you.
Eric Lee. Short for Leonardo.
Like
probably.
Geddy Lee, guys.
Really?
Okay. there you
All
go.
right. Awesome.
All right. I'm loving this. This goes in the wallet when I get a wallet.
Oh, that's great, guys. That's great. Yeah, everybody, that's great.
So,
S-E-R-E-N-A,
E-N-A.
yeah.
Oh my.
Oh.
That's a proper Italian
So
spelling.
Italian.
Yeah,
Oh.
And in Italian, they say Serena.
Serena. Oh, you're so.
Serena.
Oh,
Yeah,
I get
yeah,
it.
yeah.
I get it. I
Here
was
we kind of go
thinking
Serena. You know what? She is really practicing singing, and she's going to make a great singer one day. So if that gives you any.
So this is all right. You're gonna keep this forever.
Thanks for the singing lessons.
Thanks for the singing
Wow.
lesson. And they go, did you teach him? And you're like, I don't remember that far back, but yeah, I guess
must
did.
have.
I must have. If he said so. There you go. All right.
That's great.
All right.
All right, I think you can let your arm rest now.
It's true. It's true. Show you the one who wants to be with you. You know what I did? Deep inside, I hope you'll feel it too. Waiting on the line, waiting on that line, just to be the next to be with you. All right, that's good. That's good. That's good.
Oh, you guys.